and I'm gonna interject in there here and there.
All right, cool. So first, I got the New York Knicks as my number one seed next season, heading into the 2026 2027 NBA season. I got the Knicks first. I think this is the I'm what 28 years old now. This is the best Knicks roster on paper since I've been seriously, watching basketball since I was like I don't know 7, 8 years old. This is the most competitive roster I think you have from top to bottom. I like the coaching change. Nothing against Thibodeau, but I think he was a little too stubborn, and I think that at times that really did hurt them in the playoffs. Just obviously what he's been doing his entire coaching career. Playing guys 40, 45 minutes a night, your top guys consistently, not even looking at the bench. I think that kind of caught up to him at times last year. I like bringing in a veteran, former coach of the year, and Mike Brown to come in and lead this team. I like what they had somewhat of a quiet offseason. I know they picked up Brogdon, who just actually ended up retiring. They picked up the
Which is
guy
crazy, by
from
the way. But
yeah,
happy
yeah,
retirement
which
to Malcolm Brogdon.
was insane. Then they picked up the guy from France, Yabusele, who was a sixer last year. They made a couple moves, but I just think that they should have a lot of camaraderie, a lot of chemistry at this point over there in New York. They play hard. They have a guy who was at one point in the MVP talks last year, and will probably push himself into those MVP talks once again. In Jalen Brunson, he's a guy who's most of the time the smallest guy on the court, but he's also the the toughest and arguably the most skilled guy on the court most of the time. He is a guy who's small, but he takes over games. He's proven that to us in the postseason, in the regular season. A guy who can get you 25, 26 plus at his will. Guy who can take a guy. He won clutch player of the year last season, right? Or not last season,
I
the year before that.
think
No, I think it was
I
the year before. I
think
think it was
it.
the year before. I
Yeah,
know Steph won. Actually, Steph won last year. It's probably the year before that. A guy who was a proven clutch scorer. A guy who is not afraid of the moment. A guy who looks like a clear cut leader. A guy who the city of New York loves. A guy who I think that they kill somebody over Jalen Brunson. And for him to be able to earn that respect from that fan base, being that considering he is a smaller guy, most of the guys don't see too much success. I think that's huge. That speaks volumes from him. I like they still got they I love their wing tandem with between Hart, Bridges, and Anunoby. Those are three top tier wings in modern NBA. The one thing you need in the modern NBA to win games is you need wings who can defend and shoot. And with Hart, you get a little bit of defending, shooting, playmaking. You get a little bit of all of those things. Between those three guys, they are I won't say they're elite at all of those things, but they're above average at most of those things. They can get out there and they can really help you win games, set the tone for games, and they can make it tough for the other opposing guys. They don't really have the issue matching up. They can switch off with those guys. They can really they cover up for what Brunson and Towns at times lacks. I think that OG Anunoby can defend bigger guys. He can defend smaller guys. He can defend those mid tier guys. So I think that's big. They really complement their filling out their roster. So I like that. Um, Towns is going to be back. Towns is another guy who's going to be a clear cut all star between those two. I'm not sure if somebody else is squeaking from that roster, but I think he'll be another clear cut all star. He can stay out of foul trouble, move his feet a little bit on defense. I think that'll help him a lot. But we expect him to come and just do Towns things. We expect him to average 20 and 10, 2012 with shooting around 42, 43% from three on like 6, 7 attempts. So we expect him to go out there and do those things. So I got them pushing as my number one seed, just with all the expectations and all the injuries and whatnot. I expect them to come out with a vengeance. I expect the New York Knicks to hold down the one seed and make a lot of smiles in Madison Square Garden.
if I can interject, also Mitchell Robinson is healthy this season as well.
Oh,
Like
yep.
he's coming into the season healthy, which I think can bode well for them. I think that last year, because he's probably as far as backup bigs, can you name five better?
Backup bigs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
backup
Mitch
centers.
Robinson. I don't think so.
Yeah, so I think that that'll bode well for them as far as chemistry wise going into the year if he can just stay healthy consistently. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure. Defensive anchor in Mitchell Robinson. That'd be big for him. He also a great finisher at the rim. That should be that's gonna help them a lot. He's always in and out the lineup over the years. So hopefully if he can stay healthy, that'd be big. And my two seed, I got the Magic. Mainly because I think the potential here is just too high. I know obviously last year between both Wagner and Bankero, they both missed a combined 58 games. That's a lot of games between your two best players. But they bring in Desmond Bain. This is a team that was dead last in 3 point shooting last year. They shot 31% from three as a team, which is pretty horrible. Also played pretty slow at about I think around 96 possessions, something like that. But one thing in the preseason I realized they're trying to play faster. They are trying to change that. They're around 105 possessions per game in the preseason. So if they can, change the culture a little bit, Bankero can take that next. He's already obviously an elite All Star, but you can take that next step to where he's like one of those like an All Star starter type players. I don't think he's never been in that conversation. I want him to take that as a number one pick about 4 or 5 years ago. Who just got his extension? He already got paid. So if he can take that jump into like what a lot of people think he can be, which is a tier one leader, tier one guy. Maybe boost his points per game to 20, 26, 27. He can stay out there with Mo Wagner. And if Desmond Bane does what he's been doing his entire career, one of the better two-guard shooters in the league in an era where you need shooting, he can light it up fast. He's easily 20, 22 points per game, a lot of threes. He should open things up for that entire offense. I think Jalen Suggs is still working his way back from injury. But
he's
I think
always
Mo
working
Wagner,
his way back from injury, but hopefully he can stay healthy this season.
yeah, but I think Desmond Bane's really gonna open things up for this team. I like what they're building towards. Who did they last they made the playoffs last year? Who did they lose to in the first round? No, they lost to Boston, right? Yeah, they
Boston.
lost.
No, was it?
I think it was Boston. No,
It was Boston because the year before was Cleveland. They took Cleveland 7. This year was Boston.
Yeah, this year was Boston. So I mean, I got another thing. Boston is out now, so they got a clear path. I like this team. Hopefully, if they can play faster, if they can get some more, increase that 3-point percentage, and guys blossom into who they can be, and they can stay on the court. I like what I see from the match. You got anything to say about that? I feel like I missed somebody on this team.
Yeah, two things. One, they picked up Tyus Jones, which thank God, because this team has needed a point guard.
Oh, they got Goga and Jonathan Isaac. Okay,
they've been needing a point guard since, brother. It got to be. What was the last good Magic point guard? Jameer Nelson? Was it Jameer Nelson right for Austin? Like they might have needed a point guard for that long.
Might be the last good point guard for that franchise.
After that, you had DJ Augustine. Shout out DJ Augustine, but DJ Augustine was pretty much more of a friends. But I'm just happy they finally have an actual point guard, right? Like I think, granted he won't start, but I think he'll help coming off the bench because like you had Jalen Suggs, who I think Jalen Suggs is a combo guard. He's never going to be a pure point guard, but I do think he's a winning player. Like Jalen Suggs is a guy you need on your team to win basketball games. But I thought they had Franz a lot of times and Paulo a lot of times like running the offense. And I don't think that they need to run the offense as much as they were running the offense. So I think it'll help free both of those guys up. I think it'll help free both of those guys up to just do what they do. And yeah, I'm with you on like the Desmond Bane thing. Like he'll help a lot because I mean, and defensively they've been great, but I think offensively for the past few years they've been at the bottoms of the league because again they just can't like shoot three. So I think like having Desmond Bane out there, a guy who's been 44%, will actually help. I don't have the Magic ranked exactly where you had him ranked, but I have him ranked pretty high. So yeah, fair.
Yeah, and also I mean, hopefully they get a healthy Jonathan Isaac, a guy who's been when on the court, he's been one of the better defenders in the league. You know, he's long, tall, athletic, can guard multiple positions. So a full year of him, I know he's been limited a lot over the years. He came back from injury and got hurt right back again. If they can get him out there, I think that'll help a ton for the defense. One of the most versatile defenders in the league, arguably, easily. I like they bring it back. They still got Wendell Carter at the 5, and you also have Goga. I'm not even going to bother with his last name, but Goga is also a guy who can hold down the paint, protect the rim,
like Batiste or something like that.
Yeah, Batiste. Yeah. Also, they got a young guy becoming Anthony Black, a guy they took out of Arkansas a year or two ago. He can really, so hopefully he can get some minutes. He can grow into what he could possibly be in this league. And then yeah, I just like overall potential of this team. A younger team who went out and proved to the world, their management proved out to the world they want to compete. Like you don't trade 4 first-round picks for a guy. 4 was it 5, 4 or 5, either one.
4.
You don't go out there. Yeah, you don't go out there and trade that many picks for one guy if you're not trying to compete. If you don't want to win games. So they'll be definitely a fun team to watch on League Pass. And hopefully, eventually they'll be on more nationally televised games. So I like teams who compete. So I'll for sure be watching them, and that's obviously what they want to do. On to my next team. I got my 3 seed. I got Cleveland.
Fair.
I got Cleveland because I mean last year obviously they ran through the Eastern Conference. They were the clear-cut number 1 seed. But this year's going to be a little more interesting. Obviously they picked up Lonzo Ball. Max Strus was going to be out for the first couple of months. Darius Garland's going to be out for the first couple of weeks. He's still dealing with his turf toe issue. Lonzo Ball still won't be playing back-to-backs. I think that's interesting. They got DeAndre Hunter, who's never really played more than 60 games in his career.
And they do got some really hurt guys. I didn't even think about that. They got some really hurt guys.
Yeah, they've been dealing with injuries a lot. But overall, the ceiling though, when you you look at their top guys. Donovan Mitchell was a top 3, top 4 shooting guard. Evan Mobley was insane last year, defensive player of the
Do
year.
you question? What
What's
do you
up?
think Evan Mobley's ceiling is? Like, because I've heard talk from like the internet people that think like Evan Mobley has MVP type potential. Are you on that boat? Do you think that when we reconvene in 7-8 months, Evan Mobley could be top 3 in voting, or fuck around and win it?
MVP, I don't see MVP, but I do see a really, really, really talented player. I think he could be. Well, was he All Star last year? You know,
I'm pretty sure he was.
was he?
I think so.
Yeah, I see him standing in the All Star conversation, and I see him getting better on offense. But MVP just seemed like a little bit of a reach. I really like what he brings to the table all around: steals, blocks, the length, the ability to slide his feet on the perimeter and protect the paint, the ability to knock down the open jumper, the ability to post up occasionally, and just the ability to be just a headache for the other team on both sides of the floor. But MVP, I don't know if I really see MVP. MVP, I don't see that.
I'm with you. I don't either. I don't. I'm with you.
MVP just seems like a little too much.
I don't know if he's going to develop offensively enough to win an MVP award. Personally,
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I don't
I can
think.
agree with that.
I think that for him to win it, for him to win an MVP award, I think he would have to average probably more around like 25. And I don't know if he's a
Yeah,
25 point per. I don't know if he's a 25 point per game scorer. And I could be wrong. Could be wrong, but I don't know if he's a 25 point per game scorer in the National Basketball League.
Yeah, I don't see that either. But this team, they obviously they kind of have it figured out. Kenny Atkinson has found his way as a coach in this league. I think after that season last year, and he has pretty much solidified himself as a coach in the league for years to come. They have the talent, like you said. These guys, they top to bottom. Let me see. I think that's pretty much. I don't know how much more I got to say about Cleveland. We know they're a proven team. I'm not sure as far as their playoff ceiling. I don't know if I can see them actually making noise in the playoffs. I can see them get to the second or third round, but as far as the finals appearance, I don't know if I can see it mainly because of injury health, and it just seems like they're just missing a little bit of grit, a little bit of too many more pieces where I can put them in that type of territory. But yeah, I'm gonna put Cleveland as my third seed. So I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, keep going. Or should I give my top 3? Actually, now that you say what you said, we actually had the same top 3. Because I forgot that Garland was going to be out some. Like I forgot about some of the injuries that they had. But actually no. I'm gonna take that back. Knicks 1. I still have the Cavs 2. I think they can manage without Garland for a little while, or they might manage so well that they forgot that they don't need Garland. You still have Donovan there. You still have Mobley there. You still have Allen there. Like they'll be able to win some games. Hunter won't come out the gate and fall out. You know what I'm saying? So you'll still have. Your basic core, and that's good enough to win you some games. Donovan will probably come out giving you 26, 27 tonight. Again, Evan Mobley, defensive player of the year. Like I said, I don't see him jumping up to an MVP level. I don't know how much more his offensive game can get better. But if it can get better, that even bodes more well for them. So I still have the Cavs at number 2, or maybe even winning the East again. But right now I got Knicks 1, Cavs 2, and I got Magic 3. I think it'll just take them a little bit of time to figure it out going forward. But I thought the Magic would have been a team that would have won 50 games last season, and they probably would have won 50 games last season if they weren't so hurt. So I still have the Magic as the top 3 team in the Eastern Conference.
By the way, did you see Lonzo Ball in the preseason? He looked like he's still.
Yeah.
He like 20 minutes. He had like 9, 4.
Yeah. Nah, yeah. Like he can still move around. I mean, I think it's incredible what modern medicine can do. Because 20 years ago, his career would have been over. So shout out him for just being able to be on the court and being able to contribute. And I think he'll give them. I know he will give them more than what Isaac Okoro was giving them last season. Just on the fact his ball handling, he's still a really good playmaker. He can knock down a 3. I think he has to get the 3 ball a little bit back, but before he got hurt, I think he was at like 40% from 3, so he can knock down a 3. So he can give them a different element off the bench than what Isaac gave them. So yeah, I shout out Lonzo. I'm just happy to see Lonzo back on the court playing basketball.
Yeah, for sure.
I can give you my 4 to 6. My 4 to 6, I have the Pistons.
Yep, I was gonna say the
Um,
same. Mm-hmm.
again, I like what they added. You got Jaden Ivey coming back. Obviously, he was hurt last year. You added Duncan Robinson, which they needed some shooting, especially after you lose Tim Hardaway Jr. And then you just add another year of internal growth. Again, I think Kay Cunningham is a future MVP of this league. And so I would like to see how much better he can go. Like, I think he can get to 27, 10, and 8 next season. I don't understand why he can't do that. So another year building off Asar, great defender. Hopefully he worked on his shot so he can be better. Tobias Harris, granted, Tobias Harris was never a bad player. He was just getting paid entirely too much in Philadelphia, but he's never been a bad player. He's always a guy who can come out there and at least get you 17, 18 points a night. Jalen Duran, I want to see him continue to grow. Isaiah Stewart, you know what he do. So again, I like this squad, and I think that building off what they had last year, as long as they can keep building, the guys can keep getting better. I like this squad. I do think losing Dennis Schroeder is bigger than what people think it is, because I think Schroeder at least brings something to every team he plays on. But I think they'll be fine. Again, like I said, you bring in Ivy back, you sign Duncan Robinson. I think that, and if I'm not mistaken, didn't they get Karis LeVert too, the Pistons? Or did I make that up? I think they got Karis LeVert as well off the bench. Now, let me check that out and make sure. Did I make that up?
Hold on.
No, I didn't. Yep.
He's
They
there.
got Karis
Okay.
LeVert. Yep. They got Karis LeVert off the bench, which, I mean, he'll be a guy who's probably in 6-man of the year contention. So I like what they did. I like their backcourt. I like their front court. If I had one question about them, I guess it would be their wings. But Ron Hollins, 1 more year, second year pro. We'll see what he can do. But if I had a question about them, I guess it would be their wings, as far as the shooting from their wings, the consistent shooting from the wings. Like I said, you did sign Duncan Robinson. So I think that can bode well for them in the future. So my number 4 spot is the Detroit Pistons. My number 5 spot is the Atlanta Hawks. I want to put them higher. I really want to put them higher because I like what they did in the offseason, bringing in KP. As long as KP isn't sick anymore with whatever he had. That was one of the weirdest stories, I think, in NBA history. He was sick, but nobody knew what he was
But
sick
they
with.
couldn't know what it was. Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, but bringing in KP, you have Ricochet for another season, which I think Ricochet shocked some people last year. I think Zachary Ricochet showed why he was picked number 1 last season. I know Stephon Castle was a guy who won Rookie of the Year, but I think Ricochet showed why he can be a quality wing in this league for a very, very long time, especially when you're playing with a guy like Trae Young. You need defenders around Trae Young because there's limitations to what he's able to do defensively. But you'll take that because of what he's able to do offensively. Dyson Daniels had an incredible season last season. It was just what they needed at the guard spot instead of DeJounte Murray for all the reasons I just named about playing next to Trae Young. Jalen Johnson, if Jalen Johnson didn't get hurt last season, he would have been an all-star. So Jalen Johnson coming back and having a full, hopefully a full healthy season, I think can bode really well for them. And I think that I think Trae Young is the best player on the team, but I think Jalen Johnson, I think it needs to be like a Steve Nash, Amari Stoudemire type thing. Where like Steve Nash was the best player, but Amari Stoudemire in his own right was him. Extremely him. Like if Amari Stoudemire has 2 more healthy years, he's going to the Hall of Fame. I think that Jalen Johnson needs to be that for this Hawks team to get where they want to be. The only reason I have them put where I have them put at is because, again, health. And I'm not sure how healthy they can be. But you have Okongwu, who I'm excited to see what he can do this year as well. Luke Kennard, who can shoot, and putting that next to Luke Kennard, who can shoot and put that next to Trae Young, and you picked up Nikhil Walker. So, Nikhil Alexander Walker. So, picking up him, I love the additions that the Hawks made. I love the fact that they're trying to go for it, especially in this Eastern Conference. Like, if I'm anybody in the East and I saw what Indiana did last season, if I'm the Pistons, if I'm the Hawks, if I'm the Magic, we got to go for it. And I think that that's what you saw these teams all try to do in the offseason is go for it because, I mean, why not? Boston, you think they out of commission. Cleveland, yeah, Cleveland's Cleveland, but we saw what the Pacers did to them. The Pacers might not, they not gonna be there next season. So I love the fact that these teams are going at it. So I got my Hawks at the 5th spot because of injuries, but I really, really, really wanted to put them higher. And my 6th spot, I got Boston. I still think we're having Jalen. I still think we're having Jalen Brown. You got Simons. You got Derek White. Peyton Pritchard would probably take a step up. The only thing that worries me with Boston is maybe their front line, which I guess is the big worry because front line. But the bed may be the only thing that worries me with Boston. But again, like I would like to see how some of their young bigs progress. Young bigs as in Neemias Quinta, Xavier Tillman. I think you kind of know what you're getting, but Jordan Walsh was a first round pick. He didn't really get to play much. They picked up Chris Brucher, so they'll probably be able to find a way to at least manage. And again, you still got a All NBA player in Jaylen Brown. You have a sometimes All NBA. You have an All NBA level defender in Derek White. As long as they don't get hurt, and again, I'm looking for Peyton Pritchard to take a step up this season and be a guy who could be an MPI talks. So for me, I got Boston at my 6th spot in the East.
All right, so yeah, to wrap up, I was gonna start at my 4th. So 4th, I got Detroit. Just like you, like I said, Cade. I think he's gonna have a big season for him. He can be. I think he's the guy who can be in MVP talks. We talking about how we don't think Mobley can be in those talks, but we both can agree Cade is the guy who can be in those talks. I think about the team, they do also have two guys. Jaden Ivey and Jalen Duren are both due for extensions, so we'll see if they can go out there and get those done. I like one thing that's big to start the year. Jaden Ivey dealing with injuries to start the year, so I really hope that we can get a big boost from Asor. I want to see Asor in a bigger role this year. Obviously with Dennis Schroeder leaving too, I want to see how he attacks. I think he's obviously his brother is the one who made the all defensive teams. His brother got a little more shine than he did playing in Houston. They were the 2 seed last year, so
But he's a guy who could be there too.
Yeah, for sure.
Asar is a guy where if he takes a step, he could be there too.
Yeah, I think that's gonna be big for. I think he can. I think he's just as good. I mean, obviously, man, he got more recognition last year.
He ain't just as good.
I think he can be. I think he can be in the long. Not necessarily right now, but I think he can be. I think that obviously, man got the more recognition because all of the success he's last year with the Rockets being flying up to the 2 seed. But I think that I'm really close to attention to how he responds to taking on a bigger role this year. I think he looked really good last year in spots. I think he did a hell of a job on Brunson last year in the playoffs, even though he got the worst of it.
Cross out the screen.
That's what happens when you guard the great.
Left the frame.
That's what happens when you take on that challenge.
Literally left the frame for the series.
What did Mark Jackson say? Good defense always beats good offense. So
it happens. Good offense always beats good defense.
That's not what I said?
No, you said good defense always beat good offense.
Oh, my bad. I'm tweaking it. But yeah, that's what I meant to say. But I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see how he takes on that role. I just think this team, they kind of brought back, the grit. You saw a lot of the guys, a lot of the old school Pistons guys acknowledging this current team and how they play, the Isaiah Stewarts of the world, the Short Timers of the world. They brought back, kind of the feeling. Obviously, it's not the 80s Bad Boys Pistons, but for the first time, not actually, I'm lying. No, I'm not going to say that because when they had, for the first time since 2004, 2005, in that area when they were Ben Wallace and
2000
era,
2000
era, for the first time since then, they kind of they brought that feeling back. The aggression, the toughness, the competitiveness, and just like a team who really it's going to be a tough out every night. All 80 games.
City finally has a team that they can get behind. Yeah, Detroit is a great sports town, and when the teams treat the city well, the city will treat you even better.
Yeah, so pretty much, I like Detroit all around roster. They should have like you said, Tobias Harris, a guy who was somewhat. Obviously he was overpaid in Philly, so he's kind of laughed at. He didn't rise to the occasion sometimes. But last year, he was pretty good. There was times in the playoffs last year when Tobias Harris was the only guy on the Pistons who could find the bottom of the net. The only guy who could get something going. I think that's huge. A veteran guy like that who's been around the league for a very, very long time, coming in, who's showing he still has a lot in the tank. A stretch forward can kind of get a bucket when he needs to every once in a while. I think that was a great pickup for them. I think he saved them a lot last year. I don't think they have a lot of the success they do have last year if you don't go out and grab a Tobias Harris. So I like their overall the roster and what they show down here. Also, I like kind of like Marcus Sasser a little bit, the backup guard. I think he can score a little bit. He gets more opportunity as well with no Schroeder and Ivy struggling to get back healthy at the beginning of the year. So we'll see how that plays out. And then my 50 also have Atlanta. I have Atlanta. Like you said, Dyson Daniels was outstanding last year. All defensive guy, led the league in steals. He's also due for an extension, so we'll see if they can get that done sometime soon. He's well deserving based on last season. They obviously bring in Porzingis, who's they're saying is fully healthy now, despite that weird situation last year. And then Jalen Johnson is just he's exceptional. He's one of the better young players in the league. Young guy who's athletic, can jump out the gym, can defend, long, can shoot, can score.
He was the
Pretty
number
much.
one player in high school, if I'm not
Oh
mistaken.
yeah,
I
huh?
think
And then
people kind of forgot that because he went to Duke the COVID year. I think he like set out or something, which is why he was a 20th pick. And yeah, I think people kind of forgot that about him.
okay, but yeah, Jalen Johnson is outstanding. The guy who, if you're doing fantasy basketball this year, I highly recommend you draft. Are you joining the league bet?
Yes, I want to do it. Yeah, we need to do the draft like immediately, actually. But
Now,
yes,
did you see it? Did you see open the app, bro? You didn't get a text and stuff.
I got to. Yes, I did get a text, but I didn't open the app. But yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah,
Thank you
open
for
the app.
reminding me.
I scheduled the draft for Sunday night at 7 p.m.
Well, thank you for telling me, bet.
Yeah, yeah, I was gonna let you know, but yeah, so that's a guy. If you're doing fantasy basketball, I would highly recommend going after him. He fills the stat sheet up. Also, like they went and got Nikhil Alexander Walker, a guy who was pretty good last year for the Timberwolves on their run to the Western Conference Finals. I like that pickup. A guy who can defend, shoot a little bit, do a little bit of playmaking. Guy who take some pressure off of a Trae Young. Guy who take some pressure off of a Dyson Daniels. A guy who's can win some games. I like that pickup. And like you said, he also bringing Luke Kennard for floor space, and the guy who's pretty much a career 40% 3-point shooter. Um, like you said, and then the Porzingis pickup can be. I think Porzingis and Trae Young, them two, in a pick and roll or pick and pop, or whatever you want to call it. I think that's big. Porzingis obviously is older, but he's still a heck of a player. Was big for Boston when they did win the championship. And he probably sways a lot last year if he is healthy. So I think that was a good pickup. And yeah, like you said, they got Zach, the number one pick a couple years ago, Riskar. They got him for
Rich to
a
say.
full year. Yeah, Rich say they got him for a full year. So yeah, I'm shout out to Atlanta. They're gonna be a fun team to watch. And in my 6th seed, I know you went with Boston. I'm going with Milwaukee.
That's fair.
You know, unlike popular belief, I like this roster for Giannis. This Giannis is more of a guy I think he's built to play fast in a modern NBA. So the guys that have around him, I think they can do that. Giannis doesn't really bowl well when there's a ball heavy guard, a guy who needs the ball in his hands. They don't really have any of those guys around him. Giannis can just kind of run around freely with spacing. He can get up and down, catch some lobs. He can kind of play his game to the full. I think this roster maximizes him. I absolutely love when you maximize Giannis. I think you could. In this conference, I believe damn near anything is possible. I think they can get about. I wouldn't be mad at myself if they finish higher than 6. But I think that when you build or when you maximize him, I think that damn near anything is possible. I expect to have a huge season for him. I think the Miles Turner pickup was huge. He can shoot. Not only can he shoot, he also protects the rim. So him and Giannis should be a very dynamic front court on both ends. I think they complement each other on both ends. So that'll be fun. What they got? Kuzma coming back. You got Kevin Porter Jr., guy who played good minutes for them last year.
You got Gary Harris. I got Gary Trent.
You got Gary Harris. Yeah, those are guys who
another year with AJ Green. Another
Mm-hmm.
Another year with AJ Green, Torian Print. Like they tried. Amir Coffee. They tried. They tried.
Yeah, I like those pickups. Those are all somewhat versatile guys who can shoot the 3-ball well and just spacing and they can just let Giannis do Giannis. A lot of nights Giannis will win you games alone. He'll have those 50-point explosions. He'll have those 30-point triple doubles. He'll do those things where sometimes the other team is just like, we can't stop this dude, and they win games just like that alone. So if those guys can fill out their roles, these are proven role players. So that's why I like it for Giannis. It's not like these question marks. These guys they're going to understand their role. Nobody's going to come in there doing too much. So I think it complements Giannis well. And when you can complement Giannis well, you can win games. That's how good he is. That's how much of a floor raiser he is.
I'm not mad at that. I still have, if I'm doing my 7 to 10, I still have the Bucks 7. But again, I'm not mad. Like Giannis may come out here and win MVP. And if Giannis come out here and win MVP, shit, they might finish 4th. But I just think that we in the era where, like, if I look at the other 1 through 6, top to bottom, I think they have a better roster once you go 2 to 13 or 2 to 10 than what the Bucks have when I just look at what they have on the court. But yeah, the Bucks tried. I mean, obviously the Dame thing was unfortunate. It didn't really work in general, like you said. Like, it just didn't work. Like, Dame needs the ball and Giannis needs the ball. And Giannis isn't the one that just set screens and roll all day. I think he should do that more. I think that when he won the championship, one of the things that they did with Chris Middleton was like he was the ball handler a lot and Giannis was the roller a lot, at least just in that playoff run. Like I think he should do that more, but that's not what he wants to do. So, and with Giannis, you kind of got a lot. You let Giannis do what Giannis want to do. And the big thing for the Bucks here, they signed his brothers. You heard what Jeff Teague said on his pod, where like he different. He said he different around his brothers.
He did.
So
Yeah,
I mean, hey, like, hey, I like listen. I think all of us are different when we're happy. When we're happy and we are around people that we like to be around, I think all we're all better and we are more productive. So yeah, I mean, granted, I could be wrong about this. Giannis, like I said, Giannis may come out here and damn near win the MVP award and shut me clean the fuck up, and they end up being like the third seed. But how I have them looking on paper, I got them at 7. Number 8, I got the Pacers. I still think that they could be a play off or play in team.
But that front
And
line, brother, they got James Wiseman, Tony Bradley. Ooh, I don't know, man. I gotta give them some time to mourn the Halliburton and fill that 5 spot. I can't see it with that 5 spot.
But here is just
but Boston's front line.
Yeah, but here is why I say that though, because I still think you can get away with Siakam being at center, and you can get away with throwing Toppin out there at the 4. You can get away with it depending on the team. Also, Jarris Walker, he'll get a chance to play. He was drafted 2 years ago. Like he'll finally get
6'9"?
Yeah, 6'8", 6'9". They're gonna have to play fast regardless. Like, but they was doing that last season. They was up and down the court. They don't want to really want to play in the half court.
You know why that fast shit worked?
I don't. Yeah, but at the same time, I wasn't as big on Halliburton as a lot of people were. I thought that he had great moments, but I didn't think he was the best player on the court for that team every night.
But I mean, that system, it worked because of him. He's the one push. He's the one getting those out and throwing the outlet passes and making those reads and hitting the big shots.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but I also, like I said last time, so I think Nembhard's gonna average about 20.
But it's not the same though.
I know what you're saying.
Even those games when he wasn't Tyrese Halliburton, wasn't hitting shots, he's still pushing the pace. He's still pushing the pace. He's still doing that. He still
keeps the pace going for sure.
He still is the engine in that car, and the car ain't going too
far
for
sure. But you do have TJ McConnell. TJ McConnell was also doing some of those things as well. TJ McConnell, granted, you can't put him out there for 48 minutes, but we saw the finals. That motherfucker looked unstoppable sometimes. And he was also pushing the pace as well. I didn't think they lost much when Halliburton went to the bench and TJ would come in sometimes. Sometimes it actually got better.
No, I don't know about that.
There were certain games.
It might have been a couple times.
There were certain games. I'm not saying every time, but there were certain games it got better. Shit, game 7, it almost became a game solely because of TJ McConnell.
I mean, that's one game though. You can't. That's not something that that's an anomaly,
bro.
I know he was outstanding, but like we not. We not going next season like let's rely on TJ McConnell because of that one game. We're not doing that.
No, I'm not saying let's go and let's rely on TJ McConnell, but TJ McConnell, arguably, like who's a better? What are the best backup point guards in the league? I'm gonna say Tyus Jones. TJ McConnell was on the short list.
No, yeah, what? Tyus Jones. Simon's a point guard, right? Or a shooting guard?
Simon's a combo guard, bro. I'm not letting Simon run my offense. But if you want to throw him in there, sure. But yeah, but I'm taking TJ McConnell over Simon's. Yeah, Chris Dunn not really a point guard. Chris Dunn like a shooting guard forward now. Chris Paul.
Oh, okay.
Chris Paul is in there. Point being is he's on the short list of best backup point guards in the NBA. Siakam is still all NBA level player. I think Nembhard can win most improved player. I look for Benedict Mathurin, who's searching for a contract to come out and have a big year. Like he's searching for a contract. So I still think that this team can be an 8th seed, especially when I look at the rest of the West, the rest of the Eastern Conference. My number 9 spot, I got the Heat. The Miami Heat to be at number 9.
Yeah, they always find their way into the damn playoffs.
Yeah. Like granted. I do like the front line they have now with Khalil Ware and Bam. I think that could bode well for the future. I like the concept of the team that they have. It's just that I don't think they have any real, like if that team had a star, they would be like where the Magic are. But that team just doesn't have a real star to me. They have really good players, but they don't have a star to me. But if they had one, especially with Eric Spoelstra coaching, I would put them as a top 4 team in the conference. And my number 10 spot, It could go either way for me. It could go Bulls or Raptors. Bulls or Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Raptors are a very long team. I think if Scotty Barnes can play, Brandon Ingram gives them something that they didn't have last season, which is basically just a scorer, like a borderline scorer. Like when he goes out there, he going like in the preseason game, he had 20 points on 20 shots and no assists. That's about what you expect from Brandon Ingram. With RJ Barrett, with Scotty Barnes, who I mean he kind of had a down year last year, but I still like his trajectory as a player. And as far as the Bulls, I kind of like their new direction that they're going in. Kobe White obviously gave you 24. Kobe White gave you 24 a night after Zach LaVine left. Josh Giddey stepped up. They still have Vucevic. You got a lot of guys on the bench who like Dalen Terry get some playing time. Isaac Okoro gets a fresh start. Buzelis, I'm very interested to see where his career can go and how good he can be. Patrick Williams, who I think is overpaid, but I think he can at least give him something. Can he go out and be a quality starter? I think the thoughts of him being a star are pretty much over with, but I think he can go out and at least be a quality starter in the NBA. So we'll see. But so yeah, that's how my 7-10 goes. What's your 7-10, brother?
My 7-10, my seventh. I actually put the Raptors at 7.
That's
I
fair.
just think that when you have what they have as far as payroll goes, I think you have to be in competitive mode. And I think that it's actually while a lot of the guys are arguably overpaid, there are still talent. They're still talented. So the talent is still there despite the fact that they are overpaid. They have 4 guys making north of $30 million, and Scotty Barnes,
And
RJ
to be the
Barrett.
7th seed, that is nuts.
Scotty Barnes, RJ Barrett, that's 2. Emmanuel Quickly, and who's the
Bi, right?
Yeah, and BI and Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
And you also have a starting center you paying and Jakob Poeltl, who's a very productive center, but he's getting $20 million. So their payroll is out of this world. I'm pretty sure they're somewhere deep in the luxury tax. I didn't look into all that, but I'm pretty sure they're somewhere deep in the luxury tax.
Be
So
the
just off
7th
that
seed. You
alone,
are
and
scamming
off
your country.
yeah, basically off the fact that let's say towards the end of the year, if they ever did want to, I don't think you want to take when you're paying this much money. I don't think that's even an idea. It's a very interesting, it's a very weird blend of talent. I think when it comes to RJ Barrett, I feel like RJ Barrett and Brandon kind of operate in the same areas of the court at times. They both like that mid-range area. I think Scotty Barnes is a heck of a young player who can fill up the stat sheet, dynamic, pretty much all around. Like I said, I like Jakob Poeltl to clean up around the rim and do all the stuff you need out of the center. But they also picked up a guy who's a young Ochai Agbe from the Jazz. I think he has pretty high potential. But they also banking on Grady Dick, who's a pretty good shooter, a guy who can do some spacing for those guys. Like I said, who operate in the same areas. Hopefully, if he had some pretty good moments last year. If he can, build some momentum off that, I think that'll help. But I just think that this team has to be in competitive mode throughout. They don't have a choice but to compete, and I like the talent is there. And don't have a choice but to figure it out. When you put all that money into a team, you don't sit back and think, "Oh, let's hopefully in 3 years, 2 years we'll be good." You don't. That's not your mindset. So I'm pretty sure what they said in the locker room with the GM and the coaches and the messages, go out there and compete. So I think I'll expect them to grab this talent that they do have and just figure it out. You don't really have too much of a choice. And anything less than I feel like anything less than honestly, this is kind of embarrassing. But anything less than what is already this 7-8 is really embarrassing for that city and for the team in general to pay all that money and have all that talent and then and not be able to compete in the Eastern Conference that a lot of people are saying is pretty much wide open. So I expect them to capitalize on that. At my 8th seed, I got Miami. Just alone off the, like they always figure it out. They always make it to the playoffs, and they always figure it out. Even though Tyler Rowe will not be there for the first month or so, he's dealing with an injury. But I really like the Norman Powell pickup. I think he is going to be exceptional filling in that role. I think he's going to take a lot of shots. I think he's a proven scorer in this league. Last year he walked in at 24, 23 points per game. It was almost an all-star. When Kawhi didn't play, he gave the Clippers exactly what they needed by scoring points. I think he's going to do the exact same thing in Miami. Like you said, that front court is fired. They just extended Nikola Jovic. I think another young guy in the league who can make some noise. I really, really love Davion Mitchell. I think he's a guy that
I've always loved Davion Mitchell.
Yeah, I think every team in this league would love to have a
Teams
Davion
had him
Mitchell.
too.
Guys like him don't grow on trees. Guys who wanted to go out there and guard the best player and actually do a good job at it. That's not something that's common. So that'll be huge for them. When him out there in the perimeter, Bam and Khalil Ware protecting the paint. I think that's going to be big. You obviously still have Coach Spoelstra, who Wasn't he just announced? I could be wrong, as the next Team USA
Yes,
coach.
yes, he
Yeah,
was.
yeah, Team USA coach, NBA champion coach, a guy who is probably, if not top three, top four most career wins and playoff wins in the league right now. A guy who's experienced, a guy who shows you he's willing to go to different, go 2-3 zones, 1-3-1 zones, traps. A guy who pull any trick out the bag to get a win. A guy who knows how to maximize his talent. A guy who knows how to, bring the Haywood Highsmiths, the Gabe Vincents, the whoever else they brought it from the G League and end up getting paid or starting somewhere. So they always pull something out of their bag to get them in that conversation, to get them competitive, to get them to justify those little random with national TV nights they get. They always know how to hold their own. So I expect them to go out there and grab that 8 seed. And then ninth, I got Boston. I just don't think
Oh my
just that.
goodness, ninth,
Yeah, I do. I have Boston ninth. Like you
ninth.
said, I do. I do. I got them ninth.
You do
That
not
that
fuck with Jaylen Brown.
not too much. No, I don't. I think that the
Not too
whole
much though.
I don't, as a number one option. I don't like it. I think that Tatum is clear cut to me. In my opinion, he's clear cut the best player. Without him, I think things will go south. What do I do have them still in the play-in? I do. I love their culture. I love Joe Mazzulla. I don't. I think they still have what it takes to be competitive. They can still. They're still going to be a disciplined team. They're still going to get out and run. They're still going to hit threes. They're still going to They're going to compete. They're still going to defend. I think they're still going to do a lot of things the right way. But that without that number one scoring punch and without losing Porzingis and just pretty much and losing Tatum, I think that it's going to be tough for them to stay afloat. But I do think Derek White. I think he have a big year as a top 2-3 option on that team. Like I said, Peyton Pritchard will be better. Simons on the bench will help them a lot. But I just can't see them, winning up with that front line. Like you said, a lot of question marks. With Keda and Luke Cornett and those guys. They're gonna have to kind of weed that out. I think it's gonna be a big problem for them, just like how Indiana is. Like I think you can't win too many games when your front line are the guys that we stated. But I do still expect them to be like in that playing area in there. They might even make the playoffs from that. Obviously playing only got to win one game, 1 or 2 games, and you're in. But I can't see them as a serious contender with everything they're missing. And I don't expect much from Jaylen Brown, a guy who still struggles to go to the left with his left hand, and they just I don't expect, but they will still be competitive, so they'll still win in that plan. And then 10th, like I said, 10th is a very interesting spot for me. It's hard. I got like a couple teams. I put 4 teams, but
I have a wild card team that I didn't mention at all. That's the 76ers. And I didn't mention them because I just don't believe that they're gonna be healthy. I saw a report that said they're hopeful Embiid is gonna play opening night.
They said they've been in scrimmages. They said they've been in training camp. Said they've been playing in scrimmages and stuff in practice so far.
But they said they was gonna break his hip bone to put it in his knee. So like I don't. So like granted, if Joel Embiid is healthy and he can actually give you 55 games or something like that, that changes a lot.
That's like 10. That's like HC by default with him playing.
Yeah, like that changed a lot. You also do got Jerry McCain coming back, who he got hurt last year. He probably would have won Rookie of the Year if he didn't get hurt last year. Another year with Tyrese Maxey. PG already out. I don't know what PG injury is right now, but PG already out. So like VJ Edgecombe looked nice in the preseason. VJ Edgecombe did look nice. So, you do have Andre Drummond. Oh, that's a fantasy pickup. Andre Drummond. Any center that is backing up Joel Embiid, pick him in fantasy. Pick him in fantasy. But yeah, my Sixers are my wild card team, bro. Like, yeah, they could be a 7th seed, an 8th seed, maybe even a 6th seed if they have a magical season. They brought Quentin Grimes back. It's a 6th seed if they have a magical season. But I'm just very unsure about the health of everybody surrounding this team for me to really rank them and put them anywhere. I'm just very, 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 very unsure.